The way we work is changing every day, thanks in large part to the internet. So if you're an online creator, what can you do to create a sustainable future for yourself? On Attach Your Resume, creators share how their jobs work, especially during times like these where big changes are happening in the online world. Listen to interviews with internet reporter Taylor Lorenz, CEO of Patreon Jack Conte, representatives from Defector, Aftermath, and more. Whether you're an online creator yourself or curious about what's going on in the online Wild West, search Attach Your Resume wherever you listen to your podcasts.
The Pacific Palisades fire.
Tonight, we're exposing a devastating crisis that's hitting close to home, and I mean literally.
It's unimaginable, yet still very real to us. It's something we never imagined could happen.
Replacement estimates are being reduced by as much as 90% across the board to prevent payment. Cannot tell you how many times I have policyholders call me and say, I've called my insurance company 10, 15, 20 times. I've sent 30 emails. Nobody's answering.
We are following breaking news right here on Dr. Phil's Merit TV. I'm Chris Gutierrez along with Lonnie Coombs as we continue to follow the raging wildfires that are roaring across Los Angeles County. The Pacific Palisades fire was just declared the most destructive fire in Los Angeles city history. Can you imagine?
The flames are being fueled by those powerful Santa Ana winds up to 100 miles per hour. There are now 5 separate fires: the Palisades fire, the Hearst fire, the Woodley fire, Olivia's fire, and Eaton fires.
Lynn Levin Guzman is a lifelong resident of Pasadena. She was protecting her parents' house from these flames. She joins us now to talk about this. Lynn, please know that we are very sorry for what's happening in your community.
Yes, I try not to get emotional, but thank you very much. I went to help my parents because unfortunately they're 90 years old. So got them out of the house. Only one fire truck available to fight like 6 houses on fire that my brother and I got to watch across the street burn completely to the ground. I have pictures of those from today. It's the saddest thing in the world. But my brother and I were determined and stayed at that house and used garden hoses to water down the front yard, the backyard, the roof. We put out the surrounding neighbors' fires as well as they shot embers over into the yard to keep everything hopefully sustainable. And it was the most horrific thing I've ever gone through in my entire life.
You said that you and your brother went back to your parents' home. You were able to save your parents' home. Is your home still standing? And what are you doing to keep your home at this point safe as well?
Luckily, my home was a couple blocks below the fire on the hillside. So the embers, there were a couple more streets above my house that were reaching these embers, but we had 90-mile-an-hour winds with embers, the size of dinner plates, like fireballs in the sky.
As I hear you fight back your emotion, I can't even put myself in your shoes, standing there in front of my parents' house with a water hose when winds topping 100 miles per hour, which is Category 2 strength hurricane force winds, blowing embers, or what you call fireballs, the size of a dinner plate, around you. What's going through your mind at that point?
It was even more so emotional because my parents' house got canceled by their insurance company. They've been through 2 insurance companies, and there's no homeowners insurance to cover them.
We have heard multiple reports of people out in California who feel like they've been abandoned by their insurance providers, whether they've been canceled or simply can't afford to renew what they had before.
California is being completely denied because of certain locations. These insurance companies are canceling after, 20 years of due diligence and loyalty and saying, sorry, because of your location, we're not going to insure you anymore. We're not going to insure anyone in California. We're moving out of state. Sorry. And just like that, my parents have tried multiple times to get insurance. And this is a bridge that's not connected at the moment because, this big fire came at a time that was so crucial. It was almost as if it feels like a setup, Nobody has insurance and everything is aflame.
So according to the Department of Insurance, since 2022, okay, so 3 years ago, 7 of the top 12 insurance carriers in the state of California have either cut existing homeowners policies or stopped selling new ones, okay? So that's a huge problem. In May of last year, State Farm announced that it would pause issuing policies in California. Why? Because of the wildfires. And then just last month, to try and help the situation, insurance companies that stopped providing home coverage to hundreds of thousands of Californians, just like your parents in recent years, as the wildfires have really become more destructive, will have to again provide policies, according to our research, in fire-prone areas if they want to keep doing business in the state of California. So what they're saying essentially, Lonnie, is that if you want to provide coverage in Northern California, you need to also provide coverage in Southern California.
That's right, in these high prone risk areas as well. And Lynn, I feel for you because I have lived in California most of my life, and I've had an insurance company all those years that I paid to, for all those years, just like you, just like your parents. And we were informed just a few months ago as well that they would not be renewing these, the fire insurance part of it. And that if you move to a new house, you probably won't get insurance at that point. So it's the same issue. And it really does raise the issue, what are people supposed to do?
Yeah, and I know Dr. Phil has interviewed people who are kind of in that situation where they feel like they've literally been priced out of their homes because of insurance premiums.
Coming up, quietly for the past few years, insurance companies have been pulling up stakes in California and other states where weather and disaster-related claims are common. What you need to know to protect your home. Kristy and Michael know all too well how devastating natural disasters can be and how important insurance is. In the past 6 years, they have lost not one, but 2 homes to catastrophic wildfires. Can you imagine?
We purchased our first home in Paradise, California, and lost it to the Camp Fire, the deadliest and most destructive wildfire in California history.
It was such an amazing house.
We lost everything. All our photos of our children when they were babies, photos of our families from the past, everything you could think of. We had really good insurance. Our insurance actually paid out enough to where we could purchase the house outright. That insurance policy jumped up to $12,000. We could not pay that. The evening that the park fire started, and it was initially just a warning, roughly 30 minutes after that first warning, we were loading our stuff into vehicles and hitting the road.
When we left, we thought we'd be coming home later. No way this was going to happen to us twice.
You could see 150, 200-foot flames shooting into the sky.
We're stopped. We're stopped. We get confirmation that we had lost our house yet again.
It's a gut-wrenching feeling to think that, well, this happened twice. What says it can't happen a third time?
I'm just completely in shock that it happened again. And to be uninsured, we're having to start over.
We've worked our whole adult lives to try to live that quote-unquote American dream, but we have nothing to show for it.
Make better sleep your New Year's resolution with Cozy Earth's best-selling bamboo sheet set and bamboo pajama set. The bamboo sheet set is crafted from 100% premium viscose from bamboo, delivering unmatched softness and breathability to keep you cool and comfortable all night. These sheets get softer with every wash and are backed by a 10-year warranty, ensuring long-lasting quality. Pair your sheets with a bamboo pajama set, a timeless classic designed with soft stretch knit fabric that sleeps cooler than cotton. Its lightweight, breathable design keeps your temperature just right through the night, so you wake up feeling refreshed. Cozy Earth helps turn your home into a sanctuary where relaxation and comfort come naturally. A better year starts with better sleep. Wrap yourself in Cozy Earth. Don't wait. Head to cozyearth.com/Phil now and use my exclusive code PHIL for up to 40% off. That's cozyearth.com/Phil. If you get a post-purchase survey, say you heard about Cozy Earth from the Dr. Phil podcast. If you're worried about IRS collection tactics, you don't have to face them alone. Tax Network USA is here to help. Tax Network USA is the nation's premier tax relief firm and has negotiated over $1 billion in tax relief for clients. Our services include penalty forgiveness, hardship programs where you might not have to repay anything until your tax debt expires, and offer in compromise solutions for lump sum settlements. Whether you owe $10,000 or $10 million, our experts are ready to assist you. Even if you're behind on taxes due to missing personal or business records, Tax Network USA can guide you through the process. Tax season is long over, and for the IRS, that means it's collection season. To schedule complimentary consultation, call 1-800-958-1000 or visit tnusa.com/Dr. Phil. Don't let the IRS's aggressive tactics control your life. Take charge of your financial future. Visit tnusa.com/Dr. Phil today. Kristy and Michael, thank you both for joining us. Not once, but twice. That just seems unfathomable.
It is unimaginable, yet still very real to us.
Yeah.
It's something we never imagined could happen.
So when this happened the first time, you go into shock, right? I mean,
absolutely.
If people have never seen anything like this, and we lived in California at the time of that first fire, this came so fast that there were people driving down the road out of Paradise with their tires on fire.
Correct.
Because it was such a close call to get out.
Correct.
Now, you were married 1 month before the fire, right?
September 2018, and little did we know everything would be turned upside down very shortly after.
Yeah.
You had just hung the wedding pictures,
Yes.
what, the night before?
The night before.
Yes.
In the house that burned to the ground.
Yeah, in a sense, our dream home.
Yeah.
You know, enough room for us
Wow.
and our kids.
My word. What goes through your mind when they give you this evacuation notice? Because, like I said, there's not much time. This comes and it says, you need to get out of here right now.
I actually saw the very start of the fire that morning as I was driving to work. And growing up in that area, we've seen fires like that before. So originally I thought, oh, it's small, they'll get it put out. Within a matter of 20 minutes, I had already made my way out of town, could not get home, had no way of getting a hold of my kids. On and off the phone with her is by far one of the scariest, if not the scariest days of my life. So no time to even think about your actions.
And this house was important to y'all, of course, and you had insurance on the house.
Oh,
Kristy.
yes.
What was your premium?
We like to say it was the cost of a date night for the month. Incredibly cheap and amazing coverage, like over-covered for that price.
I believe it was $82 a month at that time.
Yeah. So a date night back in 2018 maybe, but you know.
Yeah. But it was less than $1,200 a year.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, so you had it covered, everything was good. And so you bought a new home outright using the insurance money.
Correct.
Correct, yes.
And was that the right thing to do when you look back now?
Hindsight, no. Hindsight, we would have probably used a large down payment to keep our mortgage low. But if we would have known that the insurance would have increased so much, we would have at least had a nest egg to be able to cover those costs in the future.
What did your premiums go up to?
Oh, I believe the first year was roughly $2,200. The second year, I believe, jumped to roughly around $2,700. The third year jumped to roughly $7,000. Fourth year, our last quote, to where we decided this is something we can't do, became $12,000 for the quote, because it was California Fair Plan to cover fire, plus a secondary insurance to cover everything else. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't just, here, break it into 12-month payments, it was...
You got to come with the cash.
Well, yeah, it was 3 payments was the only offer we were given. It was $7,000 to begin with, $4,000 the next month, $1,000 the following.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't afford that.
So it went up
something for us.
10x.
Oh, yeah. It was...
I mean, $1,200 a year to $12,000.
Oh, yeah. We felt like we were being punished.
Wow. And COVID hits during this time.
Correct.
And what happened to your jobs during COVID?
We were both laid off. We were both trying to figure out if we could get unemployment, if we were going to have any future funds. Hard times.
Yeah.
It became hard times.
Yeah.
Sure.
And so by 2021, you had to drop all insurance coverage. There was no money to pay.
Yeah, there was just no fathomable way that we could have done that.
So how are you coping after losing the second home?
That's a very hard question, to be honest.
We can't say that we're doing fine. I guess technically we're surviving, but that's all we can do. We got to keep going on for the kids. And
it's a day-to-day thing.
yeah, absolutely.
You know?
When you lose everything, and I only know this from talking to people, I haven't been through it, so I'm certainly not implying that I know how you feel, but I've had people from your communities that have told me, when you lose everything, you realize how layered life is. You know, you lose mementos, you lose every little thing that you took maybe for granted. You're used to reaching into a drawer and you pull something out. You don't have a drawer to reach into, and there's nothing that was in the drawer. And your children, all their toys are gone, everything that they love is gone, clothing is gone, and it took 6 years to relayer your lives to the point where you say, okay, you know, we're kind of back.
Yeah.
You're kind of back.
Right.
And then, boom, you get hit again.
Yeah, and it's no less devastating the second time.
Yeah, you said you talk about pre-fire and then pre-fire.
Correct.
And now it's in between for the campfire and the park fires, pre-fire, and then after both fires is post-fire.
Yeah.
Because it's how we, in our heads, have to kind of break down when we had something or when something happened. Oh, was that pre-fire or post-fire? It's insane.
Yeah, and you say now you don't even have like a can opener. I mean, it's like...
No, we don't. We still haven't gotten one.
About.
We don't have ketchup in our fridge. There's stuff we don't have that everybody has in your fridge, and you spend a lot of time building up your, everything, and we don't have it.
This isn't just like we found the most unlucky, unfortunate people in America. 60% of Americans saw their home insurance premiums rise dramatically, and you guys just got priced out of the market, hit twice. And so now you have to find a place that just keeps you warm and dry. You rent someplace, and your kids feel what? How do they talk about this?
So at the moment, we only have our youngest daughter at home still.
Right.
She's a senior in high school. And we try to talk with her. We try to coach her through this the best we can. We've asked her if she wants to seek counseling. She joins us in odd, dark humor to just laugh it off. You can see on her face a lot of the time, and she has no problem telling us this is hard. Our other daughters all went through it the first time. She, unfortunately, had to deal with it the second time as well as driving out of the community with us, instead of just getting into a car and
letting her parents worry about it. She was also driving out of it herself.
The clip you saw with the flame shooting into the sky, she was right there with us, driving, trying to focus on the road, focus on traffic while staring into that devastating picture.
And it was kind of chaotic after that second fire, right? You evacuated in 3 different cars, and they were sending people in different directions, and it took you 7 hours to make a 20-minute drive.
Correct. We maybe got 5 miles away from our house before we were stopped by emergency personnel, turned around, told to head north to where our one road town ends and wait on some logging roads until emergency personnel could help us. And that was 50% or so of our community that were told the same thing, all because we were maybe 5 minutes too late of leaving the house.
So we have another young couple that was in the process of starting their life in their forever home when Hurricane Helene washed it all away. They had no flood insurance, and they're left wondering, what do they do next? We're going to add them to the conversation after the break. My next guest, Macie and Caleb, say that losing their home feels like a death in the family. Just 1 week after celebrating their daughter's first birthday in their backyard, Hurricane Helene dumped 40 trillion gallons of rain, enough water to fill more than 60 million Olympic-sized swimming pools in the Southeast, destroying their home and their dreams of a future there.
I inherited my grandfather's house in 2017. The house means everything to me. Caleb and I grew up together.
I proposed to her in the backyard. 1 year later, she became my wife in that same backyard.
We got married in this spot back in 2022. In 2019, we had a mild flood. And at that moment, we went and priced flood insurance.
We couldn't afford it. Every time it rained, you'd sit there and you're like, please don't let it rise.
On September 27th, 2024, Hurricane Helene came in and destroyed our home. We stayed until we could not stay anymore, and we got all our stuff and we were out of there. Took our camper to higher grounds. We sat there and we watched our whole house go up. 5 feet of water came in our home and completely destroyed everything.
This is what it looks like currently. You can see how high the water got in here.
It's like a thief came in the middle of the night and stole everything from us. We're grieving. We still have so much frustration, so much anger.
This is the saddest part. This was our daughter's nursery. Where's all your toys, baby?
Our daughter is 1 year old, and we hope and pray that she will never remember this.
I think about it every day, like, what is she seeing? I worry about us. They're taking a toll on our marriage.
This was our wonderful view that we used to have.
It never gets easier coming back down here.
Well, Macie, Caleb, thank you guys for being here. You say you felt forced to choose between really just essential living expenses and securing flood insurance for your home.
Before we break off into that, I want to personally thank you for stepping into our state, assisting people. God bless you for that.
Well, thank you.
In my book, you're a hero.
Well, thank you. The real heroes were the people that I met there, and I went into the mountain communities and along the river and all up and down, and I think I stated several times, I think it was America at its best. Neighbors helping neighbors, and you guys were right on the river. The pictures of your house before and after that flood hit, it was up to the roof, right?
Yes.
Just complete loss. It's just hard to look at, isn't it?
No, I'm telling you, it'll break your heart.
Yeah.
Especially that fourth picture right there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's your baby's nursery, right?
Yes, sir.
What was it like for you when you saw this happening to your home?
Devastating. We sat there and watched the water rise. We saw everything go up. It was very hard.
And this was a family home.
Correct. I inherited this house from my grandfather in 2017. And I grew up here. We had a family compound. It was my grandfather, and then my aunt and uncle, and then my parents, where myself and cousins and brothers were raised. So we lost everything, but as well as my family too.
In times of uncertainty, stemming from economic volatility, political shifts, and global events, it's crucial to work together and unite as a country for a brighter future. Amid these challenges, it's important to take proactive steps to monitor and protect your finances and retirement accounts. That's why I'm turning to physical gold and silver to help protect my accounts, and you should too. Gold and silver prices reached record highs this year, and central banks are buying gold like never before. So get started today with Preserve Gold, the only precious metals company I trust and recommend. They have hundreds of 5-star reviews and millions of dollars in trusted transactions. Preserve Gold is giving away a free precious metals guide with information on how to help protect your accounts. Just text Dr. Phil to 50505, and you can get up to $15,000 in free gold and silver with a qualified purchase. So don't wait. Text Dr. Phil to 50505 to claim this exclusive offer from Preserve Gold today. Stephen Bush has 20 years of experience in the property insurance arena, and as an attorney, he's dedicated his career to representing policyholders across the country. And Stephen, thank you for being here. You say that many insurance companies are thriving while their policyholders are suffering. How is this happening?
Well, that's a great question. How is it happening? How is the government, especially the state governments, allowing this? I'll give you a great example. In Florida, we went almost 12 years without a hurricane. So the insurance companies saw great profits during that time. We have one hurricane, and next thing you know, you have 7 insurance companies going bankrupt. So where is that money? And I think some of the studies that have been commissioned show that that money went offshore, and that many of the CEOs, like you mentioned, had big bonuses.
We were doing some research on this, and they make demands on what the rates are going to be, and they're complied with. We found all but 0.2% of the time, because apparently they're afraid if they don't comply, they'll just pick up and move out and leave people uninsured.
That's exactly right. And again, speaking of Florida, that's what happened. Insurance companies made the threat that they were all going to leave unless they had these big, huge rate hikes, where we've seen over a 60% rate hike just in Florida in the last 2 years. And it's unfortunate that these insurance companies are increasing rates and decreasing coverages. So policies are stripped of coverages. You're paying more and you're getting less.
It's the same way in California. There are some of the major companies that have just moved out. They just won't insure. There are 3 or 4 of the majors that will not insure in California at any price.
That's right. There's certain sections of California where you can't get fire insurance at all. No insurance companies are insuring them for fire. So these people are having to basically self-insure and go without coverages or protection. And that puts the policyholder, the homeowner, in a very vulnerable position because they lose everything. And where are they going to get the resources to replace all of that? And it either has to come from their savings, retirements, or it's going to have to come from community and charity.
And it has a profound effect on people. You say you've had 15 or 20 clients that you believe died from the stress of all this.
Yes, I have had clients who have died during the claims process just from pure stress. I also have had quite a few clients who have filed for divorce because of the stress and the pressure, the frustration of dealing with insurance companies, dealing with a complete and total loss, puts so much pressure and emotional stress on the family unit as a whole that it just destroys it in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and it's really tough. Robin and I have been through a number of direct hit tornadoes. You go by and you see a pile of rocks where a house was and a American flag in it and a sign saying, "We'll be back." There's adrenaline and all, and then after a few days, all the media leaves, all the news vans are gone, and the people are just left there alone, and the adjusters come in, and that's when the war starts, and there's nobody there to help. There's nobody there to fight back. You remember us walking through the neighborhoods, and there's just insulation flying and getting in everybody's clothes, and gas leaks everywhere. People are afraid to turn on the electricity because there's still gas leaks going. You remember that?
Yes, it was all devastating. It's like a war zone. It's like a war zone, especially with a tornado. But we've also been through a flood, which is so devastating. When the water recedes, everything just stays just like like the water is still in your home. And it's touched everything. And I can just imagine with a fire, same way you can't rescue anything. So yes, everything is so devastating, and it doesn't go away.
We're going to meet a California mother who says she's doing everything she can to protect her home, but the insurance companies tell her, "I don't care, it's not enough." We're going to add her to the conversation after the break. Jamie is a mother and wife who thought she was doing everything right to keep her family safe, but now she says she is terrified the next wildfire could take everything from them.
I live in Santa Cruz, California with my husband and my 11-year-old daughter. Fire just continues to be a risk for us. Last spring, I learned that we would be losing our homeowners insurance. It felt like the end of the world. I called probably 50 companies that first week. We finally found a company that would write our policy, and we were so happy until the price came in. And the price came in at $24,000. We were paying $2,500 before. We would never be able to afford that. We were told that if we joined to our community in this FireWise program, that would protect us from losing our homeowners insurance. We actually did a voluntary inspection and we got a gold star from our fire department. So we went back to our insurance company and we pleaded with them to please consider keeping us as a customer. They said there was nothing they could do. They would be dropping us. We are now extremely underinsured. We were able to find a way to keep our home, but if a fire comes, we'll lose everything. Our home means the world to us. For that to just go up in flames would just break us.
Jamie, you say this just leaves you constantly on edge, right?
Yeah.
And your husband is a combat veteran.
Yeah.
He has disabilities that you manage, and you have an 11-year-old daughter. Mm-hmm. How did you learn that you were canceled?
I was scrolling through the news one morning and I saw an article in kind of an obscure insurance journal that said that my insurance company was going to start canceling policies again in California. And I just had this feeling in the pit of my stomach that we might be on that list. So I called my agent and they actually had no idea what I was talking about. And then they called me a few hours later and said, we just got the list, and yes, you will be canceled.
You've never had a claim?
No.
Always paid your premiums on time?
Yep.
So you got proactive and joined this organization in your community called what?
Called FireWise.
Mm-hmm.
We saw the CZU fires come through our town in 2020 and saw the devastation and families losing their homes. And I knew that we needed to do more to protect ourselves in a fire. Mm-hmm. We are in a vulnerable area surrounded by forest. Fire is a very real threat. Mm-hmm. And so the FireWise program provides a framework for neighbors to work together proactively to protect their homes and their community. And it educates neighbors on things like home hardening, fire clearance, and provides resources to do what we can.
Yeah, and so you did all that.
Yeah, my neighbors and I have spent over $100,000 hardening our homes.
And the answer was?
It didn't matter. They didn't care.
Didn't care. Still not going to cover you.
Still not going to cover me.
And did you shop around and find somebody that would quote you?
So I don't take no for an answer very well. So I got on the phone and I was going to call every insurance company in the book. And after many calls, I finally found a company that would insure us, and the quote came in at $25,000.
Yeah, over $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More than my mortgage.
Wow. Unbelievable. So did you get into the state program?
So I reached out to them next. I assumed that their quote would be high as well, and I knew that the coverage would not be ideal. It's really bare bones coverage. Their quote came in for bare bones coverage at about $15,000.
And what's the deductible?
I think it was around $50,000. I set it as high as I possibly could.
Yeah, to get the premium down.
Yeah.
Help us out here. Give us the answers.
I wish I had them, Dr. Phil. There's no magic solution, unfortunately. I see this quite a bit, and now the insurance companies are eroding coverages by adding in these roof depreciation schedules and 1% matching, these 3% and 5% deductibles where you're getting the $25,000 to $40,000, even $50,000 deductibles. It's unbelievable that you're paying more and you're getting so much less.
But still, the premiums are
continuing to skyrocket.
Yeah.
right? And you have to wonder where it goes, but the reports don't show that the carriers are losing money. What it's showing is that they're continuing to record record-breaking profits. If that's the case, what's happening? They're saying that they have to increase the premiums to cover these losses that they're making in underwriting, but the numbers just aren't adding up.
You say sometimes the adjusters change their estimates and they've misrepresented costs to the clients.
That's exactly right.
Give me, what are you talking about?
So I have the pleasure of representing some whistleblowers. These are adjusters who work for the insurance companies. These adjusters showed me over and over again where they would go out to a loss and they would write an estimate to replace that loss. Then they would send it in to their third-party administrator, the TPA, or to the desk adjuster inside the insurance company. And they would change those estimates and reduce them down. An example of one of how much they were reducing them was he wrote an estimate for $400,000 and some odd for a total loss. The estimate that was sent to the policyholder was for $35,000.
$35,000.
Right. Now, this isn't happening just in one state. I now have evidence of this taking place all over the country. Repair estimates, replacement estimates are being reduced by as much as 90% across the board to prevent payment. So what carriers are doing, in my opinion, is they're playing the numbers game. If you want to get paid, you have to come make us pay you. That's why when you said a while ago, the war starts, man, that's great. I'm going to steal that from you because it's the truth. That is when the war starts. You can't get paid unless you force them to pay you. And unfortunately, many policyholders are not versed in this area of law, or this area, period. And because of that, they can't understand the policies because they're written to where sometimes I don't even understand what they're saying. And I work in this area for a long period of time. So where are the coverages? How do you determine what's covered, what's not? And if you have a loss, how do you get paid? The only way anymore to get paid properly, to get your coverages, is if you hire either a licensed public insurance adjuster or an attorney. And it shouldn't be that way. Insurance companies should extend coverage that is due to policyholders on the front end and stop trying to hide the ball to make policyholders go through hell to get paid.
Yeah. Sometimes it's just an attrition game, right? They just wear them out. It's just like, just wear them down. Finally, they'll just take whatever they offer them.
I cannot tell you how many times I have policyholders call me and say, I've called my insurance company 10, 15, 20 times. I've sent 30 emails. Nobody's answering. Nobody's talking to me. They silence them. And they play the waiting game, hoping that they just go away. They deny. And
every time they deny, you think about it, if they've got a big book of claims on their hands and they can push them off 30 days, 60 days, that's a lot of money they're saving by not paying those claims until 60, 90 days, sometimes a year later. They're making money on that money.
Well, to give you a great example of that, in Florida, when Hurricane Helene hit, there were still 50,000 policyholders who had not been paid from Hurricane Ian 2 years prior. Why did it take 2 years and 50,000 policyholders are still not paid?
Yeah, we got to talk about this. When we come back, Stephen is going to tell policyholders what they need to do to make sure they don't get taken advantage of. And I'm going to ask you guys what you plan to do. We'll be right back. Stephen, what can people do to protect themselves if they've got a claim?
First and foremost, you need to get a complete certified copy of your policy. Most of the time, insurance companies send you the deck page only. Don't settle for that. You need the full policy with all of the endorsements so you can understand what you are paying for. What are your coverages? What are your exclusions? And you should do that up front. Everybody should do that. Get on the phone, get your insurance company to send you your full, complete policy to include endorsements.
And they're entitled to that, right?
They're entitled to that. Dr. Phil, even if you have a claim now, it's not too late. Get your policy now. Figure out what your coverages are. You should know what your coverages are so that you can talk intelligently with the insurance company. You need to verify these adjusters' reports. Ask for your adjuster's telephone number. Ask for their card. Ask how you can get in touch with them when they leave your house and turn their information in so that you can verify that what they actually wrote is what has come back to you from the insurance company.
Are you entitled to know that?
I believe you are. Some places they won't do it. It's going to be up to the adjuster whether or not they'll give you that information.
Okay.
I think they're entitled to know. Now, in the state of Florida, they've passed those laws, and I think there's laws coming in the state of Texas as well, where the adjuster has to give you their name and their information. You need to hire your own adjuster. You need to hire someone who's working for you on your side. If you hire a licensed public insurance adjuster, that public insurance adjuster should be able to read that policy and explain to you what's covered, what's not covered, and then help you navigate through this whole process. You can say the wrong thing and the insurance company will immediately deny coverage just by you saying the wrong thing. All right, so hire your own help.
Now, I've had the same insurance agent forever. In fact, I think his son is my agent now. Are they going to help, or are they going to be loyal to the insurance company?
You have to remember who's writing their check.
Well, I'm writing them a hell of a lot of checks.
Well, your check, though, is going to the carrier, not to the agent. The agent does work on behalf of the carrier. But at the same time, they should be working on your behalf too, right? So they're playing both ends against the middle most of the time.
So you need to get somebody besides them.
Absolutely. Your agent is not the one you need to call.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. They need to go hire a lawyer or this independent
adjuster.
Adjuster.
That's exactly right. You need somebody that can work and fight for you on your side who understands this process because it is very complicated. And in most cases, the insurance company don't explain things to you that I believe they should be explaining to you up front and telling you. So they prey on the ignorance of policyholders and they don't feed into it to try to help you in any way whatsoever. That's a ploy, in my opinion, to prevent payment.
I've read my policy, and I'm not an idiot, but I get about halfway through paragraph 9, and I'm like glazing over. It's not plain talk.
It's not plain talk. And like I said, even I have trouble sometimes. I've created my own highlighting system when I read a policy so that I can keep track of what's going on, when coverages come in, when coverages leave, when coverages come back into the policy.
Where do you represent people?
We have licensed attorneys in 38 states, and we represent policyholders all across the country.
All right, good to know, because I'm going to put your link on our website so people can click it and talk to you and find out what to do. And you guys are renting now, and you're just hoping the fire doesn't come.
Or I don't get dropped again and lose my home because I can't afford insurance.
It just doesn't seem right. We talk about inflation, cost of living, affordability. It creeps into everything. And this is a big number. When your insurance premium is more than your mortgage, not good. Not good. Look, I want to thank all of my guests for being here tonight, and a special thanks to Stephen Bush for sharing his expertise. Leave here, go get a copy of your policy, because when something happens, have it in your hand, so when you call that licensed public adjuster, that's the first thing they're going to ask for, right?
Exactly.
And you're going to have that in your hands. And we got to start pushing back on this, and you do that by raising hell with your representatives and senators in your state. When we start making enough noise about it, it'll get heard. For more information about tonight's episode, log on to drphil.com. We'll have a link there, and you'll be able to find Stephen Bush and their firm. If you want to add your voice to the conversation, you can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And if you're in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, or you plan to be, we'd love to have you join us in our studio audience. The tickets are free. You can go to our website, drphil.com, and click on Be Part of the Audience for all the details. Thanks for being here. We'll see you next time.
Marketing is hard. But I'll tell you a little secret. It doesn't have to be. Let me point something out. You're listening to a podcast right now, and it's great. You love the host. You seek it out and download it. You listen to it while driving, working out, cooking, even going to the bathroom. Podcasts are a pretty close companion. And this is a podcast ad. Did I get your attention? You can reach great listeners like yourself with podcast advertising from Libsyn Ads. Choose from hundreds of top podcasts offering host endorsements, or run a pre-produced ad like this one across thousands of shows to reach your target audience in their favorite podcasts with Libsyn Ads. Go to libsynads.com, that's LIBSYN, ads.com today.